He moves like a phantom, a whisper in the ancient alleys of the Levant. His face, rarely seen, is shrouded in shadow, a deliberate obscurity that fuels the legend. He is Ahmed Al-Sharaa, better known to the world as Abu Muhammad al-Jawlani, the enigmatic leader of one of Syria's most powerful jihadist groups. His journey, from the quiet halls of Damascus University to the battle-scarred streets of Aleppo, is a testament to the chaotic forces unleashed in the heart of the Middle East. It is a story of radicalization, of ambition and ideology, and of the terrible violence that can erupt when faith is twisted into a weapon of war. Al-Jawlani's story is inextricably linked to the fate of Syria, a nation consumed by civil war and the rise of Islamic extremism. He is a product of his time, a man forged in the crucible of conflict, and his decisions will have profound consequences for the future of the region. To understand Al-Jawlani, we must first delve into the world that created him, a world of simmering resentment, religious fervor, and the intoxicating allure of jihad. Ahmed Al-Sharaa was born into Assyria on the cusp of change. The year was 1982 and Hafez al-Assad, the iron-fisted dictator, ruled with an unyielding grip. Damascus, the ancient capital, was a city of contrasts, bustling souks and glittering mosques alongside the grim realities of a police state. It was here, in the heart of the old city, that Al-Sharaa spent his formative years. His family, while not particularly wealthy, was respected within their community. Education was highly valued and Al-Sharaa excelled in his studies. He was a bright and inquisitive child, drawn to the sciences and possessing a thirst for knowledge. There were few hints of the path that lay ahead, no outward signs of the radical transformation that awaited him. He was, by all accounts, an ordinary boy growing up in extraordinary times.
The year 2000 marked a turning point in Al-Sharaa's life. He was 18 years old, a bright student with dreams of becoming a doctor. He had just begun his studies at Damascus University's Faculty of Medicine, eager to embark on a career dedicated to healing. But across the border, in the occupied Palestinian territories, a new intifada had erupted, igniting a firestorm of violence that would forever alter the course of his life.
The images of Israeli tanks rolling through Palestinian streets, of homes demolished and lives shattered, filled Al-Sharaa with a profound sense of injustice. The plight of the Palestinians resonated deeply with him, awakening a sense of solidarity and outrage. He became increasingly drawn to radical Islamic groups, seeing in their ideology a powerful antidote to the perceived humiliation of the Arab world. The seeds of jihad were sown, taking root in the fertile ground of his youthful idealism. Under the tutelage of seasoned jihadists, Al-Jawlani received extensive training in weapons handling, explosives, and guerrilla warfare. He quickly rose through the ranks, his intelligence and charisma marking him out as a natural leader. He participated in numerous attacks against US and Iraqi forces, earning a reputation for ruthlessness and tactical acumen. The mild-mannered medical student had vanished, replaced by a hardened militant forged in the fires of insurgency. Driven by a potent cocktail of religious fervor and anti-Western sentiment, Al-Sharaa abandoned his medical studies and embarked on a perilous journey to Iraq. The year was 2003, and the US invasion had plunged the country into chaos, creating a breeding ground for extremist groups. Al-Sharaa, now calling himself Abu Muhammad al-Jawlani, joined the ranks of Al-Qaeda in Iraq, eager to wage jihad against the American occupiers and the fledgling Iraqi government.
In 2006, Al-Jawlani's burgeoning career as a jihadist leader was abruptly interrupted. He was captured by US forces and imprisoned in Camp Bucca, a notorious detention facility in southern Iraq. The camp, which housed thousands of suspected insurgents, became an unlikely breeding ground for radicalization.
It was here, amidst the squalor and deprivation, that Al-Jawlani honed his ideological convictions and forged important alliances that would shape the future of the Syrian conflict.
Prison life, while harsh, provided Al-Jawlani with an unexpected opportunity. He spent hours each day studying the Quran, immersing himself in the teachings of radical Islamic scholars. He also formed close bonds with fellow inmates, many of whom would later become key figures in the Syrian uprising. Among them was Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, the future leader of ISIS.
Camp Bucca, intended to contain the threat of Islamic extremism, had inadvertently become its incubator.
When the Syrian uprising erupted in 2011, Al-Jawlani, recently released from Camp Bucca, saw an opportunity to put his ideology into practice. He returned to Syria and established Jabhat al-Nusra, an offshoot of AQI, with the aim of overthrowing the Assad regime and establishing an Islamic emirate.
Al-Nusra quickly gained notoriety for its battlefield prowess and its strict adherence to Sharia law.
Al-Jolani's group exploited the chaos of the Syrian civil war, attracting a steady stream of foreign fighters and disillusioned Syrian youths. They carried out suicide bombings, assassinations, and large-scale offensives, becoming one of the most effective fighting forces arrayed against the Assad regime.
Al-Jolani, once a shadowy figure, emerged as a key player in the Syrian conflict, his pronouncements eagerly followed by supporters and feared by his enemies.
As the Syrian conflict escalated, tensions grew between Al-Jolani and his former comrade, Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, the leader of the newly proclaimed Islamic State of Iraq and Syria, ISIS. The two groups, once united in their opposition to the Assad regime, clashed over ideology, strategy, and ultimately territory.
Al-Jolani, while espousing a similarly extreme interpretation of Islam, rejected al-Baghdadi's declaration of a caliphate and his brutal tactics against civilians.
The rivalry between al-Nusra and ISIS erupted into open warfare in 2014, further complicating the already chaotic Syrian battlefield. Al-Jolani, despite being outgunned and outmanned, refused to back down, positioning himself as a more pragmatic and less extreme alternative to ISIS.
The split between the two groups, once seen as a minor schism within the jihadist movement, would have far-reaching consequences, shaping the future of the Syrian conflict and the global fight against terrorism.
The demise of ISIS's physical caliphate in 2019 did not diminish al-Jolani's influence. He remains a powerful figure in northwestern Syria, where his group, now known as Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, HTS, controls a significant swathe of territory.
Al-Jolani has sought to rebrand HTS as a more moderate force, focused on governing its territory and providing services to the local population.
However, al-Jolani's past as a jihadist leader continues to haunt him. HTS remains designated as a terrorist organization by the United States and other Western powers. His attempts to distance himself from his past have been met with skepticism, and his true intentions remain shrouded in mystery.
Is he a reformed jihadist seeking to create a viable Islamic state, or is he simply biding his time, waiting for the right moment to strike? Only time will tell.